Where are you from?
Orlando, Florida.
How are you discovered?
How was I discovered?
Oh.
I would say normally as an audition. I auditioned for some things and people took a liking.
What was your first break?
I would probably call it Jane the Virgin. Being able to do that kind of work, to play twins that was crazy. I get to play a good twin and a bad twin, and turns out the bad twin was actually he was him the whole time. So a lot of fun.
What have you been in?
Oh wow, I have been in. Well, my first job was Royal Pains. Wow, and I was just like a nurse. And from there, I just kind of I came to LA and I did Vegas, which was, I played a boxer, person of interest. I was a sailor who was, a troublemaker, had a bomb strapped to me. Let's see, NCIS, which was great because I got to play a gay character who was married and his husband was murdered. And I thought that was poignant during a time when we were fighting for equality. Let's see, Stalker, where everyone thinks I'm the killer, but I wasn't. I was innocent, I promise. Yeah, and I've been in a couple of movies. A movie called Wish You Well, where Ellen Burstyn, who is like one of my favorite actresses, I get to play her adopted son, and during 1920s, where that relationship would never happen, and it was a really great experience to shoot that in Virginia. She kind of took it very, very serious, so we were very, very, very close during our shooting. And now I have a new movie coming out called Loving, which is about Loving versus Virginia, interracial marriage, where a black woman and a white man, being played by Joel Edgerton, they are banned from the state of Virginia for getting married. And so I play Joel Edgerton's best friend, and I'm super excited to see what people think. And of course, Underground, where I play Cato. Half my face is burned. From Twitter, I'm probably the most hated human being on the planet. So that's interesting. Which means I did my job, yes, but to be called certain names, does hurt a little bit. I'm a bit sensitive. But no, I'm very excited to see what people think as we go through that series.
How do you feel about this career?
How do I feel about this career? I'm blessed to have it. I don't take it for granted. There are so many important things that are going on in the world that I want to make sure that I don't get lost in the hype of it all. I don't buy into it. I want to stay humble. I want to stay hungry. And I just want to create. The awards, that's great if it comes, but it's more so about being able to do what you love and to do it with a passion and do it with heart and to tell people stories, give voice to the voiceless. And for me, that is an honor, and I hope that I get to do it till the day I die.
How did you decide to become an actor?
How did I decide? I don't really know that I had a decision in this. I always tell people, I think certain things choose you. I started out, you're going to get this on camera. I started out as a Gerber baby. They dressed me up as a girl. And I don't remember it, obviously. I was a baby. But what was exciting is that my mother just kept putting me into school plays, elementary school, middle school, and I was always performing. I mean, even at home, I would get in front of the camera and perform, sing, do whatever. And then, you have your family come over to visit during the holidays, and guess who comes to be the performer? This guy. So do that speech that you did, or do that thing, So that was basically my introduction to the arts. And as I journeyed through, I realized that I really wanted to take it seriously, which is why I went to get my education, got my BFA from SUNY Purchase, got my master's at Penn State, and it was just something that I said, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it the right way and really have all the tools that I need to succeed.
How would you describe your specialty or type?
Say that again?
Specialty or type?
Wow. I don't know that I can describe it. I don't know that I hope I don't have a specialty. I hope that I'm never boxed in. I look at my career thus far, and I've been pretty all over the place, which has been the great part about this. I strive to not have a specialty. As far as, he's a comedian, or he's just drama. I'm doing drama, but the things that I usually test for are comedies, which is, I know you can't see that now. But as far as type, hope it's leading man. Hope it's sexy. No. I hope it's, I hope it's someone who is sincere and honest, and someone who is in that Cuba Gooding Jr., Terrence Howard, Denzel, Jeffrey Wright mix somewhere in there. I mean, there's just so many, I think aspects or characteristics that I take from them because they were before me, and so I learn from them by watching them. And at the same time, my own heart and soul gets in there as well. So, I think that's who I am.
Who's your favorite actor who you look up to?
Wow. I will say, I really love Gene Wilder. I think he's a brilliant man. There's a great story that he tells about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and that before he took the job, he said, I'm not going to take this job unless, Willy Wonka, when he's walking down the red carpet, he has a limp. And then he stumbles and he comes out and he's like, ta-da! And they said, well, why that? And he said, because at that moment, you don't know if he's telling the truth or if he's lying. And I thought, I had to watch the movie all over again to understand how genius of a mind that is. To be able to analyze the script and see where the character really can go was what opened my eyes to understanding that the world is really your oyster when you're playing one of those types of characters. Another person is Jeffrey Wright for me. Jeffrey Wright is a genius. His subtlety, his clarity, is that he's forgotten. You don't see him anymore. And of course, then you have Viola Davis's heart, where she's just a human being in everything that she does. Of course, Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, he's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, what else can you say about him? And so for me, I think there's so many actors who I look up to. I think the thing that stands out for me is that they do something so specific. If it's Viola's, humanity, it's Denzel Washington's heart. The way he carries his passion for his characters. It's Jeffrey Wright's, clarity and how he sees them, and so it's very specific and meticulous. And Gene Wilder's brain of how wondrous it could be, and so that's, I think, how I do it. I don't want to say, oh, this is one person, but it's a little bit of everything.
What would your ideal job be?
My ideal job. I think I'm on my ideal job. Underground is a very special project for me. I didn't know it at the time, but looking at it now, it has helped me to be more grounded, to have more compassion, to be prouder, and to be bold. And not to say that I wasn't going there anyway, but to be a part of something that challenges you, challenges the way you think, challenges the way you see the world. I think that's always ideal for an artist, to do things that are uncomfortable, not only for yourself but for the viewers. That is the way we sharpen each other. I believe we've been put on this earth to be connected, and so in this day and time where everything is about the internet and being on your phone, hopefully this is a piece of art that never gets lost, because it's you and me, and we need each other in order to survive, and that's what the show is about.
Do you consider yourself to be lucky?
I don't know if I ever use the word lucky. I think I would use the word blessed. I do work very, very hard, and I believe that, I've had a lot of favor thus far, and so I know there's just so many other talented actors and actresses all over, that I get to have that type of favor, that type of blessing that someone says, out of, thousands of people that audition for things. That to me is a blessing, and I hope I never lose it. Who wants to lose favor? Not this guy.
What advantages do you have?
In what way? Uh, do you mean? Oh, I'm a male. That's an advantage, which I think is very interesting. I think it's harder for women to do anything. It feels like now, and so therefore I am a male, and I can get fat and bald and probably still work. You know what I mean? Um, I think the fact that I have the heart that I have for people and for what I do is an advantage for me. It allows me to see the world from a different view, and I think as an artist, that's always an advantage. Our jobs are not to judge, but to give voice to the voiceless. And so I think that's always an advantage. Where we live in a world that is just 9 to 5, I get to go out and travel and see things and invest in people and deposit in people, and they get to do the same thing to me. And so I think we always just have a different look on life. So I think that's a big advantage.
Would you rather have a car or a diploma?
A diploma, always. If you have a diploma, you can buy a car. You know what I mean? You can put it to good use. I believe in people following their dreams, but if you don't have the knowledge to start their own business or to do that thing, whatever it is, your dream, your passion is, then if you don't have a diploma, if you don't know how to start the movement, how the ins and outs of it works. Now, of course, there are different outlets where you don't need diplomas for the things, and you need life lessons, experience. But when it comes to education, my mother was a teacher, so I'm going to always side on that, because when the crap hits the fan, hopefully you'll be able to go back and continue on with your education. Yeah.
What do you think about the need for instant gratification?
It sucks. But it's weird because, as an actor, you want that. You want to go and audition, and then you want them to stop you at the door and say, no, 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 no more. You're it. I mean, every actor dreams that. Every actor thinks that they're going to walk through the door and say, send everyone else home. You are it, But it sucks. I try to shy away from it now. I try to give myself things to do, like I got a movie I'm going to go see, or I'm going to go hang out with some friends, just so I don't think about those type of things. They're great when they come. It's very heartwarming when people enjoy your work or whatever it is, but it can be very dangerous. You can get sucked into that whole. I remember. God, I hate this. I remember one time I did this play. It was called Wait Until Dark. And, you come out at the end of the play and everyone is there, the crowd is there. And so the audience comes out and you're waiting for people to say, congratulations, good job, kind of thing. And I remember just standing there. And this man walks up to me. And I overheard his conversation with one of the actresses, like, oh, you're amazing. Oh, my God, everything about you is life, And then he walks over to me and he shakes my hand. He says, good try. And then he walks away. And I remember being like, my whole, it felt like someone, like, punctured my heart. And I think at that moment in my career, I remembered, yeah, I'm going to just go from my dressing room to my car because, what are you doing it for? It's more about you, and it's not about giving and sharing of yourself. You want people to tell you you're amazing, and sometimes you're just not, and that's okay too. So.
How do you feel about how interconnected the world is becoming?
Interconnected the world is becoming. I don't actually think it's as interconnected as I would like it to be. I mean, as I said before, the internet and phones and just everyone can hide now. No one has to take responsibility for the things they say, the threats that they make, the bullying that they do, and so that scares me. So in a way, you're never getting a chance to really meet people and talk to people on a level that is very honest and true. When you face someone, you have to look them in the eye. That's a completely different monster than when you're hiding on your phone. So I long for the next generation to fight against that, to know that we're here to sharpen each other. It's not all bad. You know, there are those moments where people get to Twitter or to Instagram or to Snapchat or whatever, and there are causes that are very positive that come out of them. But sometimes it feels like the negative outweighs the positive, and that's unfortunate. So I hope that there's either a balance, or we remember that we've been put here to connect. Yeah.
What does the future look like to you?
What if I said it would look grim? No. No, I think it looks positive. There's so many amazing things that are happening. There's so much change that is happening. I mean, from the first black president to equality in marriage, to hopefully women's wages being to as equal as men. There are more. There feels like a revolution is happening now. Black Lives Matter, to Flint, to police brutality. People are standing up for something instead of falling for anything, and people are actually trying to take a voice now. I hope even more during the next election, and that's exciting. You have a generation that is coming up that is hungry for change, hungry for knowledge, and I don't think that they are. I mean, they've been given a bad rap in that they only want to be famous really quickly on YouTube, and I don't think that's the truth. People want to be heard, and I just think that if we continue down this road, I think with climate change and all of that, people eating better, I mean, the world is ours. We can do better things. We can cross over the lines even in different countries and help build us all up, as opposed to, it's ours. This is America. Know that we can start to lend our hand more and do more, and instead of trying to destroy each other.
How do you feel about having children? Man,
it feels like everybody asks me, do you have kids? Are you going to have kids? You need to have kids. It's weird, I love children. My wife and I, we love kids. We said we want to have children, but then, you go to the airport and then you see these kids running around and you just say, no, I don't want them anymore. And then you see this one child who was like perfect, sitting at the dinner table reading a book, and it's just like, yes, mother, pass me the salt. And it's just like, yeah, I want that child. And then you look over and then you see another kid picking his nose and then throwing it at somebody. And it's just weird. So it's kind of hard for me to, and then you go, well, which child am I going to get? Which child am I going to get? And then I think about my life and I say, well, God, are you going to be cruel and give me the other child? Because I don't want that. No, but I plan, if I don't have children, as far as, my wife doesn't want to have a pregnancy, then we would definitely be open to adopting. Kids need love all over the world. And so I love kids. I love being around kids. They remind me that it's time to play. I remember there were moments when I took myself just too seriously, and this little kid walked up to me and he was like, you need a nap. Because it's that thing. It's like, this is way too heavy. Just simplify, and have fun. We're going to play bank robbers right now, as opposed to, I got to do my taxes and, I got to pay bills. It's just take a breath. And that's what I think what kids do.
What challenges do you feel the world is facing today?
Well, right now, obviously race is a big issue, which is sad because it has like fame attached to it. Inequality is a big issue, and so for me, they're not even challenges; they're a crisis. They need to be remedied. There's a lot of healing this country has to get to, but I don't think we're going to do that without talking. We have to have conversations, and I don't mean Twitter conversations. I mean conversations. People need to be heard on both sides, and we have to come at it open-hearted and open-minded. And if we're not doing that, then nothing will ever change. We can't move forward without those things. We have to be willing to pull the rug out and say, this is what's there, and let's deal with it. And I think we have some exciting times coming ahead of us. There is a renaissance happening. There is a revolution happening. And I don't mean it in the sense of negativity, because some people can look at revolution as just being about segregation and it being about, negativity in that it's pro one and con the other. I mean that there's a revolution in the way we think and the way that we feel, and that it is about unification at this point, because we can't do this without the other, and that's, I think, exciting.
What is your favorite way to communicate?
Obviously talking. I just said I hate Twitter. No, I love Twitter, but it's talking. It's my favorite thing. My wife likes to write to me, so I get like little letters, and then I don't read them all the way. I was like, why can't you just tell me? But I'm starting to learn to write more as a way of communicating, but talking is definitely my thing.
What do you think of the creative scene in Los Angeles?
Well, it's a little bit all over the place now. I want Los Angeles to take more risks as far as in this industry. I want us to know that we have to cultivate new artists. We need to cultivate new actors, new writers, directors, producers, all of it. We need to start at the head and with studios and networks, and we need to take those risks. The days of keeping it in a circle should be over with. How do we move forward and tell new stories if we keep it in the same circle? And so for that, I say, Los Angeles, get your stuff together. We have a long way to go, but I think one step at a time. That we go in these cycles, and I think we're now trying to break out of the mundane old ways, and hopefully, again, with cultivating new voices, we could do anything. We'll see.
What is your favorite book, film, and music right now?
Book, film, well, I just telling my publicist that I've been, researching so much on the Underground Railroad because of the show for over a year now. And so everything for me has been built on, Bullwhip Days has been built on, documentaries have been built on just trying to find slave narratives and things about that. So for me, everything is, in that vein. The last book that I really, really loved was, it's called The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wao, W-A-O, or Wow. And it was just a brilliant book. It was just so awesome. It travels. I'm getting attacked. It travels from Puerto Rico to America, and this young man's journey of how we know he's dead, but we watch how it happens. And so it's just a fabulous book. Favorite film, you said? My favorite film is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, I've watched it over 225 times. I've counted. It was my thing that got me through undergrad. It's just a really funny movie. I really love the fat kid in it because he almost drowns, and then you have Willy Wonka saying, "I hope it'll last," kind of thing. It's just weird how he does that. Very cynical, very dark comedy. Let's see. What else did you ask me? My favorite music. Well, I grew up on R&B and soul, so I have to be honest. Like, Boyz II Men was my thing. I saw them live, and I have to admit, I'm admitting a lot. I have to admit, I did want the rose when they threw it out. I was like, yeah. Because, I love Boyz II Men. They're just absolutely brilliant. But I grew up on Otis Redding, and, my mother and father had me at an older age in their life, and so I had that kind of relationship with music, just old school, Luther, and so I'm into that kind of music. But I also love jazz, which is huge. I play a saxophone, so I listen to a lot of Charlie Parker and things like that. And so yeah, that's where I'm at. Not too much into hip hop as much as I used to be back in the day.